My name is Gregory Gourdet. I'm the culinary director of Departure Restaurants for Sage Restaurant Group. I started cooking at home. I was in college in Montana, cooking for myself for the first time, renting my own house. So I had to feed myself because I was thousands of miles away from my parents, for the first time, supporting myself. And I fell in love with cooking. I fell in love with the ingredients. I fell in love with the social aspect around it and being able to cook for your friends and having fun dinner parties. And I started to develop the trade. And I washed dishes. That was one of my first jobs. I also worked at a deli, worked with a lot of vegetables actually, which is part of my story today. But back then, I really just wanted to focus on falling in love with the craft and just learning. I wanted to be a chef. Um, that full thought process kind of came a little bit later. I just wanted to cook. And out of that, I pursued my career. I went to culinary school, which was a really fantastic next step. And I worked at some really great restaurants. And, here 20 years later, I'm at this point in my career. I worked for a very celebrated chef early in my career, Jean-Georges Van der Richten, and he's from Alsace in France. And he actually started a lot of his early career in Asia, which is a huge part of my story today. I work in a very specifically modern Asian restaurant, and I do thank him for kind of exposing me to these early Asian ingredients, ginger and chilies and spices and all the beautiful herbs and kind of all these traditional and classic Asian flavors. So for him, he actually started his career kind of with French background, amazing classic French cuisine, and then kind of modernizing things. And he started a lot of the early fusion movement that was part of the '90s and the late '80s, which kind of combined French flavors with Asian flavors. So ever since I started my career, because I did my extern with him, and then really had my first culinary cooking job with him as well. So very early in my career, I had a lot of cultural influences in what I was doing, and involved French cuisine and involved lots of Asian flavors. And very early on, I saw the importance of having global awareness, and that was something that was going to be a big part of my career, and it still is today. As we move forward, it's important to be able to learn from different cultures and to kind of just talk to people and ask them, what did you when you were growing up? Especially in the culinary arts, it's a gift to be able to, talk to, my Mexican coworkers and we had a Mexican pop-up dinner once, and it was really great to make tamales, and tell me how your grandmother made this mole. Let's try to make it together. Or my Korean friends, and like, let's make kimchi together. How did your aunt make this kimchi? So it's really fantastic to be able to pull from the resources and just get to know people and just absorb their different cultures. Working with specifically Asian ingredients and trying to kind of source these specifically cultural items that are authentic, it's important. You want to make some smart decisions. And, obviously we'll use specifically classic and technical traditional ingredients that we import, but at the same time, you do want to represent where you work and where you live. And that should be for anyone, anywhere globally. So we're obviously highlighting all the amazing farms that we have here. We're highlighting the amazing seafood, the amazing meats, the amazing vegetables, and we're applying our own twist on them that speak to the cultures that we're using. For example, we'll use really amazing apples to make bibimbap during apple season. We'll make amazing kind of, I just made this amazing strawberry vinaigrette with Japanese chilies for a tuna dish the other day. Just really wanting to bridge the gap between what's in season right here in Portland, Oregon, and something that speaks to the cultures that we're working with in our food. I think for anyone who wants to be a chef, I think some important skills to have are one, drive, two, determination, and three, perseverance, because I think all of them talk about character and being able to push through barriers. I think there's a lot of beautiful art and creativity that surrounds the culinary arts, but the truth is it's a very challenging career path. It's extremely long hours. The money's not that great. And it's hot. You cut yourself, you burn yourself, and it's a very high pressure situation. You're in a room with lots of other people, all trying to push really hard to create this great experience for people. And there are different styles of restaurants these days. I've always worked in kind of higher volume restaurants, so that adds an element of even more pressure because we're feeding so many people. Organization and project management is absolutely vital in the kitchen. With your menu at the restaurant that, the one that we were at, we have 56 things on the menu. So that is divided up amongst the team, and we all have many, many different projects, and each of those projects have many, many different steps. So if you're not organized, if you don't have a full list of what you need to do, a full list of the ingredients that you need to work with, a full list of how your day is going to be timed out. You're setting up your sex for failure because you need to be fully detailed and fully organized to execute this in a proper time frame. So, being able to project manage and kind of see what you need to do, get it done, and keep going is an extremely important skill set to have. I think definitely get out there and cook in a kitchen. I think cook in a kitchen and really think about if that's what you want, because it might sound very glorious and glamorous, and I truly, I'm aware I'm part of it, but there's a lot of cooking shows and reality TV based around cooking and, celebrity chefs, and there's a lot of glamour around it. But the reality of it is that it's really long work and it's really hard to get to that level, and a lot of good work has to come from that. And if you don't love to cook and you don't want to dedicate, 10 to 12 hours of your day every day and give up holidays and give up weekends and give up family time just to, physically make all this food and hone your craft, it's probably not for you. I've seen many, many eager cooks come in and they realize that, like, you're going to have to work every holiday. You have to work every Saturday because it's the busiest day of the week. We need you here. We need you to be flexible. You can't really get sick, because if you're sick, then someone has to cover for you, and it unbalances the kitchen. So it's a lot of work. I definitely suggest getting out there, working somewhere busy, and really figuring out if it's what you want to do.